Nobody told me what I was actually signing up for when I got into my first serious relationship. And I don't mean the practical stuff, the compromise, the communication, the logistics of building a life with someone. I mean the other thing, the thing that doesn't show up until you are 6 months in, or 2 years in, or 10 years in, and suddenly you're having the same argument for the 47th time, and you have no idea why you can't stop. I am a trauma therapist. I have been doing this work for 7 years, and I want to talk to you today about something I wish someone had told me, and something I now tell almost every couple I have worked with. You are not just marrying a person. So, let me tell you about a couple I worked with. I'm going to call them Priya and Arjun, not their real names. They came to me about 2 years into their marriage. They weren't in crisis, nothing dramatic had happened. They just said, "We keep fighting about everything and we can't figure out why." They were both educated, self aware, genuinely in love with each other. They would read the books, they would listen to the podcasts, they knew what healthy communication was supposed to look like, and they still couldn't stop. In our first session, I asked them both the same question. Not what do you fight about? I could see that from the outside. I asked them, what does it feel like in your body right when the argument starts, before you have even said anything at all? Priya said, my chest tightens. I feel like I'm about to be abandoned. Arjun said, I go completely blank, like a wall comes down. And right there, in those two answers, was the entire relationship. Here's what I want you to understand. When you marry someone, or commit to someone, or move in with someone, or even fall in love with someone, you are not just getting the person standing in front of you, you are getting their nervous system. The nervous system is not abstract, it's not metaphorical, it's the actual biological system in your body that decides in a fraction of a second, before your thinking brain has caught up, whether you are safe or not, whether this moment is a threat or not, whether to stay open or shut down. And here's the thing about the nervous system that changes everything once you understand it. It was shaped before you had any say in the matter. By the time you were 5 or 6 years old, your nervous system had already learned the basic rules of the world. Is love safe? Is conflict survivable? If I need something, will someone come? If I show how I really feel, what happens? Those answers came from your earliest experiences, your parents, your home, the emotional climate you grew up in. And they become the operating system you brought into every relationship you have ever had. So when Priya feels abandoned the moment Arjun goes quiet, that's not about Arjun. That's a nervous system that learned very early that silence meant something was wrong, that she was about to lose someone. And when Arjun goes blank, that wall that comes down, that's not indifference. That's a nervous system that learned that the safest response to conflict was to disappear, to take up as little space as possible until it passed. Two people, two completely different nervous systems colliding every single day in the most intimate space possible. That's what a relationship actually is. I want to tell you something personal here because I think it matters. I grew up in a home that broke apart. My parents divorced when I was in my teens, and I watched, as most children of divorce do, the way that two people who loved each other could still cause each other enormous damage. What I took from that, without knowing I was taking it, was a particular set of rules about love. That it doesn't last, that closeness comes with risk, that if you let yourself need someone, you are handing them the power to devastate you. I carried those rules into my relationship for the longest time, and I did exactly what you would expect someone with those rules to do. I would get close and then create distance. I would find problems when things were going good. I was not a bad partner. I was a person with a nervous system that had learned that love was not a safe place to stay. It wasn't until I did my own therapy, and I did a lot of my own therapy, that I started to understand what I was actually doing and why. And I tell you this not to make this about me, but because I think it's important for you to hear that the person saying all of this has also lived it. I am not speaking from a textbook. I am speaking from my own experience of being completely confused by my own patterns and slowly starting to understand them. So let's go back to this idea. What are you actually marrying? You are marrying their attachment style. The way they love, the way they need, the way they pull close or push away when things get intense. This was formed before they even have a memory of it forming. You are marrying their family's rules about emotion. In some families, feelings were talked about openly. In others, showing emotion was weakness. In others, certain emotions were allowed. Sadness was okay, but anger wasn't, or vice versa. Those rules don't stay in the family home, they come with the person. You are marrying their unprocessed grief, the losses they haven't finished mourning, the versions of themselves they gave up to survive their childhood, the things they never received and may not even be consciously aware they are still looking for. And they are marrying all of yours too. This is not a reason to despair. I really want to be clear about that. This is not me telling you that love is complicated and good luck. It's me telling you that love is complicated and it becomes so much more navigable the moment you understand what's actually happening. Because here's what changes when you understand this. The argument stops being about the dishes or the money or the fact that they were 20 minutes late. It becomes about, okay, what just got activated in me? What old story is running right now? And what do I actually need in this moment, not from my past, but from the person sitting right across from me right now? That's a completely different conversation, and it's one that can actually go somewhere. If you are single and watching this, start getting curious about your own patterns. Not in a self critical way, in a genuinely interested way. How do you behave when you get close to someone? What happens in your body when conflict arises? What did love look like in your home growing up? These are not small questions. They are the most useful questions you can ask yourself before you bring another nervous system into your life. If you are in a relationship and you are watching this, the next time you find yourself in that argument, the one that keeps coming back, try something different. Instead of defending your position, get curious. Not about being right, but about what's underneath for you and for them. The nervous system stuff, the attachment stuff, the family pattern stuff. None of it makes you incompatible with someone, it makes you human. And humans, when they are given the right support and the right understanding, are remarkably capable of change. I have watched it happen more times than I can count. If this video opened up something for you, a question, a recognition, a memory of something you haven't thought about in a while, sit with that. That discomfort or curiosity is actually useful information. I make videos about trauma, relationships, the body, and what it actually takes to heal. If that's the kind of content you want more of, subscribe. And if you want to explore any of this in a more personal way, my details are in the description. Leave me a comment below if something in this video resonated. I read all of them, and honestly, what you share down there often becomes the next video. See you next week.